The Protocols of Optimal Consumption. A comprehensive analysis of 8 critical errors and precautions when utilizing edible bird's nest. 1. Introduction. The exquisite nutritional value and the necessity of prudent consumption. Edible bird's nest. EBN. Historically revered in traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and contemporary Asian culture, stands as one of the most concentrated and celebrated functional foods globally. Derived from the saliva of swiftlets, the nest is an extraordinary source of biological compounds, primarily composed of high-quality, easily digestible proteins containing up to 18 different amino acids, vital trace minerals such as calcium, iron, potassium, and zinc, and complex glycoproteins, notably sialic acid and acetylmuraminic acid. These components underpin EBN's traditional uses in promoting tissue repair, bolstering immune function, supporting respiratory health, and enhancing overall vitality and skin complexion. Sialic acid in particular has been a subject of modern research for its roles in neurological function and cell-to-cell signaling. However, the very richness and density of EBN, its status as a potent, concentrated tonic, necessitates a highly disciplined and informed approach to its consumption. Unlike common foodstuffs, EBN must be consumed strategically. Improper preparation, ill-timed consumption, or incorrect dietary pairing can severely diminish its therapeutic value, create unnecessary metabolic burden, or even precipitate adverse health reactions. The widespread desire to maximize its benefits often leads consumers to commit common, yet significant, errors. This comprehensive analysis will meticulously dissect 8 critical precautions and common mistakes associated with EBN consumption, drawing on both modern nutritional science and the principles of TCM to provide a definitive guide for safe, effective, and optimal utilization of this valuable health product. 2. The 8 Protocols of Bird's Nest Consumption. Detailed Analysis. 2.1. Protocol 1. Avoiding excessive consumption and overloading the system. The most frequent error, driven by the belief that more is better, is the overconsumption of bird's nest, leading to a detrimental surplus of protein and nutrients that overwhelms the body's metabolic capacity. Physiological mechanism in consequence. Digestive strain and indigestion. EBN contains an exceptionally high concentration of protein. When consumed in excessive quantity, the digestive system, the stomach and small intestine, struggles to produce sufficient enzymes quickly enough to break down the dense protein mass efficiently. This results in acute digestive distress, including symptoms like bloating, flatulence, a feeling of being overly full, satiety, and nausea. The rapid onset of indigestion diminishes the comfort and pleasure of consumption. Hepatic and renal burden. Once absorbed, excess amino acids from the concentrated protein must be processed and detoxified by the liver via deamination and ultimately excreted by the kidneys in the form of urea. Chronic overconsumption places a significant metabolic burden on these vital organs. For individuals with pre-existing or underlying hepatic or renal impairment, this sustained overload is medically contraindicated and can seriously exacerbate their condition, necessitating strict monitoring and often complete cessation. Nutrient competition and iron absorption. The presence of a massive surplus of one nutrient group can competitively inhibit the absorption of others. The high protein load may, for instance, interfere with the optimal absorption of certain essential micronutrients, such as iron, Fe, potentially contributing to or worsening iron deficiency anemia, an unintended consequence that directly undermines overall health. Weight management. While EBN itself is low in fat, the concentrated caloric and nutrient load, particularly when consumed beyond the body's energy needs, inevitably contributes to an energy surplus. This, combined with the often high sugar content in prepared forms, analyzed in Protocol 4, promotes the accumulation of unused energy, leading to unwanted weight gain and increased risk of metabolic syndrome. Recommendation: consumption must be carefully measured. For most healthy adults, an intake of 3 to 5 grams of dry EBN per serving taken no more than 3 times per week, is considered sufficient and effective for obtaining benefits without risking metabolic overload. 2.2 Protocol 2. Maintaining strict separation from therapeutic medication, consuming bird's nest concurrently with prescription or over-the-counter medication is a serious error that compromises the efficacy of both the drug and the tonic. Physiological mechanism and consequence: drug-nutrient interaction and bioavailability. The complex glycoproteins and mucopolysaccharides present in EBN possess strong binding capabilities. When ingested simultaneously with medication, these EBN components can chemically or physically interact with the drug's active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs. This interaction can lead to the formation of insoluble complexes or encapsulation of the drug molecules within the digestive tract, reduced therapeutic efficacy. This complex formation reduces the bioavailability of the medication, meaning a smaller portion of the drug reaches the systemic circulation to exert its therapeutic effect. The patient may receive inadequate treatment, slowing down recovery from their ailment. Conversely, the high protein and mineral content of EBN may also not be optimally absorbed due to the concurrent chemical environment created by the drug. Recommendation: a crucial time interval must be strictly maintained. Individuals should consume EBN at least 2 hours before or after taking any prescribed medication. This 2-hour buffer allows the stomach to largely empty the first substance, minimizing chemical interference and maximizing the absorption of both the medication and the nutritional components. 2.3 Protocol 3. Avoiding co-consumption with tannin-rich tea. Traditional custom of following a meal with tea must be strictly suspended when consuming bird's nest due to a specific chemical incompatibility. Chemical mechanism and consequence: tannin protein precipitation. Tea, especially strong green tea or black tea, contains high levels of tannins, a type of polyphenol. Tannins are naturally astringent compounds known for their ability to precipitate proteins and bind to polyvalent metallic ions, such as iron and calcium. Nutrient loss: when EBN, which is rich in high-quality protein and minerals, is followed immediately by tea, the tannins react with the EBN components in the acidic environment of the stomach. This chemical reaction causes the protein molecules and valuable minerals to aggregate, forming insoluble clumps or complexes. The result is a significant reduction in the solubility and absorption of the EBN's primary nutritional benefits. These complexes are then simply excreted, effectively rendering the consumption of EBN wasteful. Recommendation: a minimum 1 to 2 hour separation should be enforced between the consumption of EBN and the drinking of tea. This rule is essential to protect the integrity of the EBN's protein and mineral structure, ensuring that the body can fully break down and absorb these costly nutrients. 2.4 Protocol 4. Vigilant control over added sugar content. Many commercially prepared EBN products are heavily laden with refined sugar, syrups, or artificial sweeteners to enhance palatability and shelf life. This excessive sugar load significantly undermines the health goals of EBN consumption. Metabolic mechanism and consequence: hyperglycemic stress and insulin spike. High sugar intake, particularly refined sucrose or high fructose corn syrup, causes a rapid and severe spike in blood glucose levels. This forces the pancreas to release a large amount of insulin to regulate the surge, placing considerable metabolic stress on the endocrine system. This rapid glucose fluctuation is detrimental to cardiovascular health and critically accelerates the risk factors associated with type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, which are prevalent in the populations often targeted by EBN marketing. Promotion of fat storage. The large insulin release promotes the swift uptake of glucose and simultaneously encourages the conversion of excess energy into fat, lipogenesis. This directly counteracts efforts toward weight management and negates the intended restorative benefits of EBN by promoting an inflammatory, pro-storage metabolic state. Recommendation and the golden timing. DIY preparation. Consumers should ideally prepare EBN at home. using minimal rock sugar, which has a slightly lower glycemic index than refined white sugar, or substituting it entirely with low-calorie, natural sweeteners like erythritol or stevia. Optimal timing. EBN is best consumed on an empty stomach, or when the stomach is relatively empty, as this maximizes the absorption rate of its complex nutrients without interference from other food components. The golden windows for consumption are: first thing in the morning, before breakfast, to deliver nutrients efficiently after the nightly fast. Last thing at night, 1 hour before sleep, to supply the body with restorative proteins and amino acids during the most active period of cellular repair and regeneration. 2.5. Protocol 5. Abstinence during acute cold, flu, or fever in the acute phase of infectious illnesses, particularly those accompanied by fever, cough, or severe cold. Symptoms. EBN consumption must be temporarily suspended. TCM and modern mechanism and consequence. TCM perspective. BUQ, stagnation. According to TCM principles, EBN is classified as a powerful great tonic, GBP, with restorative properties. When the body is actively battling an external pathogen, TOC-E, such as wind cold or wind heat, the body's vital energy, Q, needs to be directed outward to expel the pathogen through sweating, fever, and coughing. Consuming a heavy tonic like EBN during this phase is believed to trap or stagnate the pathogen inside, BUQ-I, hindering its expulsion and prolonging the duration and severity of the illness. Modern perspective, digestive compromise. During fever and infection, the immune system is hyperactivated, and the function of the digestive and metabolic systems is often severely compromised. Gastric acid production and enzyme activity decrease. Introducing the high-density protein source like EBN imposes an unwarranted digestive burden when the body's resources should be conserved for the immune response, leading to poor digestion, malabsorption, and delayed recovery. Recommendation. Consumption should be entirely ceased until the acute symptoms, fever, chills, severe coughing, have fully resolved. Only once the body has entered the recovery or convalescence phase and digestive function has stabilized, should EBN intake be resumed to support tissue repair and replenishment. 2.6. Protocol 6. Avoiding combination with excessively fatty or spicy foods. The efficacy of EBN is reduced when consumed alongside a diet characterized by rich, oily, spicy, and heavily seasoned foods. TCM and modern mechanism and consequence. TCM perspective, heat and Q depletion. TCM views highly spicy foods, for example, excessive chili, pepper, as possessing hot or pungent energy that can consume or deplete the vital Q and damage the yin fluids, leading to internal heat and irritability, Nong Trong. This effect is diametrically opposed to EBN's traditional property of TMBP-FON, nourishing yin and tonifying the lungs, which aims to clear heat and moisten tissues. Consuming EBN with spicy foods cancels out its soothing, cooling, and restorative effects. Modern perspective, digestive overload. Foods that are overly rich, fatty, or deep-fried are heavy and slow to digest. Combining these with the dense protein of EBN creates a multi-layered load on the digestive tract, increasing the likelihood of bile and enzyme insufficiency, causing indigestion, gastric distress, and increased internal heat as interpreted by TCM. Recommendation: EBN should be consumed as part of a clean, light, and moderate diet. It is best enjoyed when the meal surrounding it is simple, low in fat, and avoids strong, irritating spices, ensuring the digestive system is prepared to process the tonic efficiently. 2.7. Protocol 7. Elimination of smoking and alcohol intake around consumption. Use of tobacco products and alcohol consumption acts as a direct antagonist to the health benefits offered by EBN, chemical and metabolic mechanism and consequence. Free radical generation. Both alcohol and the chemical compounds in tobacco, smoke, including nicotine and various carcinogens, initiate a massive surge of free radicals and toxins within the body. Alcohol metabolism, in particular, produces the highly toxic byproduct acetaldehyde, nutrient degradation, and toxicity. The antioxidants, glycoproteins, and restorative proteins in EBN are intended to combat systemic damage. However, consuming these toxins concurrently forces the EBN compounds to be rapidly utilized in neutralizing this immense toxic load, degrading their concentration and diverting their primary function away from tissue repair and immune support. In essence, the toxicity consumes the tonic's benefits. Furthermore, alcohol contributes to internal heat and inflammation, directly opposing the restorative and cooling properties of EBN. Recommendation: to preserve the integrity and efficacy of EBN, consumers should abstain entirely from smoking and consuming alcohol for at least several hours before and after intake. 2.8 Protocol 8. Caution for individuals with phlegm dampness constitution, TCM. In TCM diagnostics, certain individuals possess a body type or constitution characterized by phlegm dampness, CAMPHENE, often resulting from underlying spleen or metabolic dysfunction that leads to the accumulation of pathological moisture and phlegm, TCM. Mechanism and consequence: exacerbation of dampness. Symptoms of phlegm dampness include chronic fatigue, heaviness in the limbs, visible or internal phlegm, nausea, dizziness, and slow digestion. According to TCM, EBN is a highly nourishing tonic, and its sticky, rich nature, due to its mucopolysaccharides and high protein, may in a person with this constitution worsen the accumulation of dampness and phlegm, causing the symptoms to intensify. Symptoms worsened. This can manifest as increased fatigue, bloating, heavy sensation, and a general feeling of stagnation, including potential issues like constipation. In this scenario, the body is unable to properly assimilate the nourishment, turning the beneficial product into a burden. Recommendation: individuals diagnosed with a phlegm dampness constitution should consult a certified TCM practitioner before consuming EBN. They often require initial treatment to resolve dampness and tonify the spleen before introducing a rich tonic like EBN. Ensuring the body's transport and transformation functions are capable of utilizing the tonic effectively. 3. Conclusion: the blueprint for safe and effective EBN utilization. The consumption of edible bird's nest is an investment in long-term health, but its potency demands adherence to rigorous consumption protocols. These 8 critical guidelines, ranging from the scientific necessity of a 2-hour drug separation and the chemical incompatibility with T-tannins, to the metabolic prudence of controlling sugar and the TCM requirement for abstinence during fever and phlegm dampness, form the essential blueprint for effective utilization. Ignoring these rules not only represents a financial waste, but risks imposing metabolic and digestive stress on the body. By adopting a disciplined approach focused on moderation, optimal timing, empty stomach, and clean pairing, consumers can ensure that this exceptional source of protein and sialic acid is maximized for cellular repair, immune support, and the realization of its full potential as a potent restorative tonic.